Konflikt hat damit trugen a Peter fin Karakol, mit dem Karakol in Theater reingehen. Ist bis die Pflegt rausgekommen von dem Theater, ist auf die Plätze der Karakol nicht gewesen. Ach, das meiner, das Teier wissen mir, wie ihr gehen, wie ihr steht, tracht ich noch von dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, zieh ich auf Verbrat, ihr denkt noch dir bei Tug in euch bei Nacht. Mein Maldawantje, die ihr bin der Zeugen, die hat hier noch in der Welt als Alemann. Heute der Passage, steht mir vor den Augen, in der Boulevard trefft der schwarze Jan. Heute der Bulgarski sehe sich a Bucher gehen, führt am Mädelgarn, Semmetschke zerknackt. Die Tirakisha Schiff hat keiner soll nicht sehen, jene singt sie a Lieder letzten Tag. Piada latka, in der Maschine Zippe, Jella Maisha Mamachka, stell mit mir a Hippe. Sei sie nicht crazy, Mama, stell mit mir a Hippe. Katessa, meiner Tessa, Teier wissen dir, wie ihr gehen, wie ihr steht, tracht ist noch in dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, zieh ich auf Verbrannt, ihr denkt noch dir bei Tug in euch bei Nacht.
Sí, vas a venir al Vinkl. Bye bye.
Okay. Okay, let's start reading what you couldn't see when the song was played. So mine Odessa. Janet, will you start, Janet?
A few months ago, is that loud enough? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. A few months ago, we already heard a song in Yiddish about Odessa. Aaron Lebedev's in Odessa, sung by Jane Pepler and Mapamundi. In light of the continued assault on Odessa by the Russian army, let's hear Odessa Mama in a nostalgic vein, like belts. It was a popular tune in the early 20th century, ironically, with versions in both Russian and Ukrainian. The version here is sung by Pesach Burstein, whom I will say Burstein, whom we recently heard singing Shabbos Nachon Kugel.
Google, yeah. Okay, let's start. Karen, can you read, please?
Ich hab gehört viel Lieder singen gute. I heard, I'm not so sure how to translate viel Lieder. I heard songs sung well.
Maurice?
Yes, many good songs sung.
Really?
Oh, many good songs, okay. Ne singt sie alle mit groß Interesse. They sing all of them with great interest. Von Slusk, von Letzt, von Zlotopol.
Liete.
Yeah.
Liete.
These are all,
Let her read, Neely.
Oh, okay. I need to close it.
I assume these are all cities.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
No.
Lita is Lithuania, but the others are cities, Lutsk, Belz, Zlatopol.
nur nicht gehört hab ich von mein Odess. I'm again not so sure how to is it perhaps that they don't compare with my Odessa?
No, it's in the first line. He says, "I've heard many good songs So he's heard songs about Slutsk and Belz, Zlatopol and Lita. No nicht gehört. It's ich hab no nicht gehört. But I haven't heard any about my Odessa. He's heard about all the other cities, but no songs about Odessa.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Sandra, you're with us? Sandy, I saw you joining. Well, maybe. Sandy, I can see you. Okay, never mind. Maybe.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Oh, okay. So can you please read?
Wie kann ich gar vergessen? Vergessen Stadt. Stadt.
Yes, yes.
Wie kann ich vergessen Stadt Ischene?
Ah, shame.
Stadt Aschene. Wie hab gewachsen, wie hab gewachsen bin euch.
Bin ich.
Bin ich. Oh, it's different pronunciation that I'm used to. Wie hab gewachsen bin ich. Is dort mein Heim? Oi, in der ganzen Welt. Odessa. Oh, Odessa. Du nur eine. Der Mannen will ich euch erzählen von dem. I don't understand. Der Mannen, you remind me, or you
No,
call to mind.
no.
In this case, it's I will remind you.
Yeah, but let's do it from the beginning, okay? Let's do it from the first line. So,
Sure.
Sandy, if you cannot, Maurice will do it. So just tell us.
I'd like Maurice to do it, please.
Okay.
Wie kann ich gut vergessen Stadt Aschene? How could I forget a beautiful city? He's talking about Odessa.
Right.
So in the next line, when I transcribed it the way he sings it, V. It should really be Vu, spelled out. Vu hab gewachsen bin ich, where I grew up.
Oh,
Is dort mein Heim. How could I forget beautiful city where I grew up, which was my home city. Oi in der ganze Welt, Odessa, du nur eine. Oh, in the whole world, Odessa, you're the only one. Der Mannen will ich euch erzählen von dem. I will remind you about it.
Right away, that's it.
Now,
Now, right away.
Right away. Now, that's in, right.
Okay. Okay.
Can I just say, can I ask something? Is it?
Yes, yes, Naomi.
With gewachsen, isn't it bin gewachsen? Not hab gewachsen?
No. No.
Bin ich, I think in the Weinreich dictionary, it's bin
It may
gewachsen.
be, no, you may be
Oh.
right. And it's possible that this is just him, or maybe he's
Oh.
just doing it. Maybe that's the way they used to speak where he was. I don't know, but I think you're right.
I don't know. My parents used to say abgewachsen.
Right, but I think she's talking about the auxiliary verb, ich bin gewachsen, rather than ich hab gewachsen.
I think
Yeah.
abgewachsen means grew up, and
Yeah,
gewachsen
yeah.
means grew. Just grew.
Rafael, yeah.
I think it might be a mistranscription because you wouldn't have two helping words, hub and bin.
Right.
They're both there.
Right.
So my guess is we'll have to listen again, but wo dort gewachsen bin ich would make sense to me, where instead of hub, it's maybe an adverb like dort. I don't know. I didn't listen to it before today, so we'll listen again when we hear it. Maybe it's wo dort gewachsen bin ich. Then it makes perfectly good grammatical sense.
Okay, we will listen to it once again, so.
Thank you.
Everyone pay attention to it, so, okay?
Raphael,
Okay.
Raphael, could it mean who has grown like I? Who has grown, who has grown
Yeah.
up in such a beautiful town such as I have grown up in?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
No.
Okay, Hilda,
Ja.
Hilda, go on.
Odessa, mein Odessa. Teil bist du mir. Wo ich gehe, wo ich stehe, tracht ich bloß von dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, wo ich hab verbracht, ich denk nach dir bei Tag und euch bei Nacht.
Good, good.
Oh, Odessa, my Odessa, dear, you are dear to me.
Good, good.
Wherever I go, wherever I am, I think only of you.
Good.
Your streets, your Massen, I don't know.
Crowds, people.
Your
Masses.
people, your crowds, yeah.
Okay, your street, your people, where I spent my days.
Mhm.
Ich denk nach dir. I long for you by day and also by night.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
Good.
Good. Thank you, Hilda.
Okay.
Cookie,
Ja,
want to read, Cookie?
ja. Der Mond sich nur in dem
Talkshow.
Talstock in die Traktoren. I don't know what that is. Die Tanzklassen, die Tanzklassen
Yes.
mit dem Molodisch.
Молодежь.
Well, Josh,
You always give me the one stanza I don't understand.
so we've got Svetlana is
All
going
the
to
others, I
explain it
know
to
every
us.
word and every meaning.
This is the plan, Cookie.
Svetlana is going to explain it.
Plagen, Polach, Dorten, Liebes, Vieren, oh ja, prach. Ich die in die Spanne mit Wolzelech Yash.
Dayos. Good, Cookie. It was very difficult. You managed it. Now,
Oh my God.
Maurice-
The other
Maurice
two were
will
so
translate.
Is Svetlana here with us today?
Svetlana is not here. No, I
No,
didn't
because
see
I don't
it.
have the, Mina, I don't have the sheet with me.
Okay, I printed it out when you say that you will not be, so I printed it out. So der man sich nur in dem Tolshok. So Tolshok is a slang word for a market of goods. It can be also stolen goods. So he remembers in this place in the Traktieren are bars. So he remembers the bars. In the Tanzklassen is dance classes. Mit the Maladiosh is, what she said, young people.
Young people, right.
With young people. Es pflegen Porlech dorfen Liebesführen. What is Porlech?
Couples.
Pairs.
Couples,
Pairs.
yeah. So,
Couples.
yeah, couples, yeah. So couples used to have love.
Romance.
Sorry, Maurice?
Romance.
Romance, yeah. In the Spane is a group of young criminals. Mit Wonslech Dayosh. Wonslech is a mustache. In Dayosh, it's a certain type of mustache.
Good.
So, yeah, well,
Okay.
Svetlana is not here. I'm reading from the paper.
Good. Great.
I
Thank you.
still don't understand.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Yeah, Barbara, yeah.
So I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not catching the flagon. Es flagon. It begins that sentence.
Used to.
Used to.
It used to, thank you.
Used to. And here it will be again, as flaked. It will be again. Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me,
Any
Minna?
other question?
Yes, Minna?
Yes?
Minna,
Yeah.
what is the word again for couples and romance?
Polach.
Okay, Maurice, go.
Yeah, Polach are couples. They're pairs. Right. And Liebes is romance. Liebe.
Liebes, okay.
Liebe. Love.
Yes, easy enough.
Romance.
Yes.
Okay.
Liebes, okay.
Okay. Zuli? Zuli, please.
Pflegte damit Drogen, Futter und Karakul. Mit Karakul in Theater reingegangen. Nur wenn sie vielleicht rausgekommen von dem Theater, ist auf die Plätze der Karakul nicht gewesen. He used to a lady. A lady used to put on a coat of karakul. I know what karakul is. It's a
sheepskin.
It's a small
Lamb. The curly lamb.
A curly, but the small one.
Yeah.
Curly lamb. Yeah. Karakul.
Karakul. Mit Karakul, she went to the theater, into the theater with a Karakul coat. But when she she went out from the theater zum Patio, auf places. And when she went out with the coat on her arms, the Karakul on his back, the Karakul was not there anymore.
Right.
That means it was stolen.
So it was stolen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Rochelle.
Is fur.
Yeah, it's a fair. Karakul is a fair.
Fur of lamb.
Yeah, here we call it Persian lamb.
Persian lamb.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call it in Argentina, we call it Karakul too.
Karakul too?
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Karakul.
Karakul
The little one, because there is one that's large. And
Karakul is a type of Persian lamb, not curly one. This is one that's a little flatter. My parents were in the fur business. There was a difference between the two. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I still have a coat that was my mother's, my mother-in-law, and I made it a short one. I never wore it in Houston.
Yeah, it's exactly for Houston, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have my father's hat.
Yeah.
I still have it. My father had a hat made from that lamb with the flaps that come down over the ears.
What would they wear around their necks with it, like a dead skunk or something?
Okay, Rochale, yeah.
I have a quick comment and a question. Ich habe geklärt, wenn man gerät, Liebesfirn, it reminded me the song about the Liebes that were geführt in the Dach from the niedrige Mizrachzeit, from the Lower East Side,
Right.
the roof on the hot summer days. So
That's right.
just
That's right.
reminded me that. The
Yep.
second thing, I have a little bit, like I'm a little bit toying with the word dame. I know it's a lady, but could it be also something else? Maybe she was selling it, it was a business, or was she using it with men and then somehow it was left out? Because the theater was also a place where this kind of Liebes would exist, you know, was part of the theater in those days.
You are asking if she was a whore?
A corvet.
I don't know.
No,
Or
that
a
only
business
happens
lady.
in
She could be a
Frampo,
business
not in
lady.
Odessa.
A Yiddish a Mädel, a Kurva? Not,
That's
possible.
only in Frampo.
Well, we have this how did you call it, the market, the talachok, the market of stolen goods. So
Yeah, but you
I
see-
feel somehow maybe it's connected. I'm not sure. It's a question. I don't know what to do with my thinking. I need your help.
She may
Well,
have sold
I
it.
don't think he would have used the word dame.
Yeah, dame sounds
I
like
think he
dame.
uses the word dame to show that she's high class.
Yeah, dame.
Wears
Maybe
her
she
fur
looked like a
in the
dame,
theater.
but not
But she-
exactly a dame, you know.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay,
When
one
she
at a
came out, she
time.
didn't have it. She didn't have the coat when she came out, so she might have sold it. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She-
I
'cause
don't
when
think-
she came
it's
out, she didn't
possible,
have
but
it.
I don't think so.
Okay, Steve, what do you think?
Well, I know from reading Isaac Babel that, you know, there was like it's sort of like America in the 20s, you know, how, you know, people, even wealthy people, like to be associated with speakeasies and the low lifes and the gangsters and stuff like that. And I think that was true in Odessa, at least again according to the stories of Isaac Babel, that there was a lot of interest, you know, in criminality, in people who lived this way, you know, but as observers. I mean, Benya Crick, who was the kind of the godfather in his stories, was Jewish, but there was also a lot of romance around the idea of hanging out in places like the black market and in bars that gangsters would go to. There was a lot of excitement in that, and the way it's depicted in the 20s in you know, in the works of like The Great Gatsby and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what's happening here as well. It's not necessarily that she was a prostitute; it's that she was, you know, the word we'd use in America is slumming. She was a great lady slumming amongst the, you know, the lowlifes in this area that they were hanging out in. And that's what I think anyway.
I just noticed that this was something that was repeated. Es pflegt hat betrogen, nur wenn sie pflegt herauskommen. It
Right.
means she did it more than once.
But she came out without a coat, so she
No,
might
no,
have
but
sold
it
it.
says, nur wenn sie
Right, right,
pflegt
right.
herauskommen. For
Right.
me, I read it as something that is repeated.
Correct, I agree with you. And
People
she
who
sold her
cannot
coat.
vergessen, Nazaza.
Okay, Morty, what do you think?
I don't think that he would have used the word dame.
Right.
If he wanted to give an impression about the woman being sort of freewheeling, he would have said, "Es flake a Bible."
Yeah.
From a footer.
Bravo, bravo.
Benishta dame. I think that he's trying to show the
different
nature of
types
the
of
woman.
people in the environment.
Yeah.
The lady going into the theater and getting her coat stolen. No, I don't think it would have been a light woman or if, yeah.
Okay, I don't know. You are afraid of using whore? Okay, thank you, Morty. Rafael.
To answer Rachel's question, how to understand Flagon, does this mean that the same woman used to come and do this many times? I don't think so. I would instead suggest it means it used to happen that when a woman would do this, then that would happen.
Right.
It's not that she herself would do this many times.
Right, it's flake your shame. Right.
Okay, I think we should continue.
Excuse me, Minna, can't
Yes.
it be understood? Isn't it possible to understand it in its simplest terms?
Yeah, it is. It
You know,
is.
that a nice woman, a sophisticated woman went into the theater and lo and behold, her coat was stolen. I mean, it doesn't seem to be that complicated. Am I wrong?
That's right.
Well,
No.
That's right.
No, you are not wrong. No, but you know, it's open to other explanation as well. So, but no, I don't think you are wrong. I agree with you, but it's open to
If he's
explanation.
praising Odessa, he's going to talk about the good things of Odessa and not the negative things. So I think it's a nice lady whose coat was stolen, period.
Okay.
Yeah. We have to remember that even in Odessa, there were some decent people.
It's not in a Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah, Barbara?
Okay, so I have to tell you, and I remarked about this to Svetlana and Maurice. This reminds me of Guys and Dolls, which I have been spending some time on. If you remember, it's an opening scene, and you know, on Broadway and let's say 49th, this is Damon Runyon stuff, and it shows you know, people are very nice people who come in there, and somebody takes somebody's watch, somebody takes somebody's purse. I mean, this is the milieu here. This is the scene, I think, that we have. I even said this song really should be the basis of something that the Folksbiene does about kind of a Guys and Dolls in Yiddish. This would be great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. Neely, can you continue? Neely. Okay, let's see if she's still here. Neely. Okay, okay. Maurice Narunsky.
מה? לא חצוף.
There's Neely.
Neely, you can read?
Yes, but where I don't see it. Where is it?
It's on the screen. Whatever you see on the screen.
Ach, Odessa? Meine
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes, yes.
Teile bist du mir, wo ich geh, wo ich steh, tracht ich bloß von dir. Oi, Odessa, Odessa, my Odessa, my dear, you are very dear for me. Wherever I go or wherever I stay, I think about ich bloß von dir. מה זה bloß?
Only.
Only on you?
Yes.
Of you.
About you.
About you.
Oh, only about you. Deine Gessen, deine Messen, wo ich hab verbracht, ich denk noch dir bei Tag und euch bei Nacht. שמישהו אחר will translate it, someone else. There are better.
Maurice, please.
Maurice.
Sure, Odessa, my Odessa, you're dear to me. Wherever I stay, wherever I go, wherever I stay, I think only of you, your streets, your people, where I spent all that time. I miss you. I think of you day and also at night.
Okay, so let's go. Rochelle, please, sorry.
Okay.
Rochelle.
Mein Moldawake, wie ich bin der Zeugin. Wie hat ihr noch Asa Liman? I don't know those words.
We will do it later. Just read and we will translate.
Ot der Paschatsch, steht mir vor die Augen und der Gor weiß der Breg, der Wart, der Schwarze Yam. All right, I've got some of it from inference. I don't know what Moldavake.
Moldavanke is a neighborhood.
Right, it was the old Jewish neighborhood. in
Okay, the
Odessa.
old Jewish neighborhood where I grew up. And I don't know what Liman is.
Liman is a group of Odessa estuaries. What is estuary? Sorry, guys.
I don't know.
Estuary?
Yeah, what is
Okay. Okay, so an estuary is where an ocean water meets with fresh water.
It's brackish water.
Okay.
It's
So
like
that's
where
what
a river and the ocean come together. Okay.
So that's what Svetlana say.
Okay. Oter Fashach.
Passage.
Passage.
Passage. I don't know what. What's that word?
Like
Passage.
a French word,
I
passage.
think it means alley.
Okay.
What does Svetlana say?
She didn't say, but a passage is
say.
a place that connects, it's like an alley that connects between two places.
Okay.
Okay.
Like a passage.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So es steht mir vor der Augen. I see it in my mind. In der Gor weiter Breg, in the far away shore, the Black Sea.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what? Go on, and because it wasn't easy. Go on.
Auf der Bulgarske sehe ich Bucher gehen.
A Bucher.
Oh, a Bucher. Okay, if it's Hebrew, I'm lost. Auf der Bulgarske sehe ich a Bucher gehen. Führt a Mädel Garn Semetschkes. Semetschkes. Knackt nicht ihr a Kisch, als keiner soll nicht sehen, und singt dazu a Liederle zum Takt. Okay.
Bulgarske is the name of a street. That's what she wrote.
Okay. All right. So a boy is walking on the street, and he's like hand in hand or with a girl.
Semetschkes are, sunflower seeds.
Oh, okay. So he's knocking is like he's opening them. From the song Razor, Gaten knackt mir Nisselach.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right.
But what is Irgorn?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Me neither. If someone knows.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay. Nit ihr. Give her a kiss. He gives her a kiss. As keiner soll nicht sehen, so that nobody will see it. Und singt dazu a Liederle zum Takt, and sings a song to the beat.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Morty?
Yes, I find very interesting the first line, the way he says, "Sehe ich sich a Bucher gehen." I mean, that means I see myself as a young man walking.
Oh,
So I think he's talking about himself.
Yes.
I think Garn is to eat something with passion.
I'm not sure.
Because Gorn, I see here in the dictionary, Gorn is ishtokek.
So he was.
So ich meine, isst das mit größten Geschick. Knackt das damit schnell mit größten Geschick. Mizuk, das
and I
knacking
imagine-
sandwiches is addictive.
Yeah, and
No.
I imagine the takt is the beat is from the Knacken Nisselech. Where does that come in?
I don't know, it just rhythm, takt is rhythm.
Rhythm,
I don't
yeah.
know, yeah. I just want to point out that the sunflower is the national flower of Ukraine.
Mhm.
Okay.
He repeated the whole thing in English again.
Ich meine, sie du abs a little wegen sandwiches auf Yiddish. Etwas
Can
romantisch.
Judy, do you want to try? We will help out. Judy?
I'll try. I'll try, but it looks a little.
Yeah, we will help out. The song is difficult. Yeah, so.
Ibla.
Yeah, Blochka.
Blochka is here mine Insike. Nay?
Yeah, it's Russian.
Oh, Nye.
Lamiosia.
Lamiosa. Mamushka. Kristal mit mir Toive?
Achipe.
What?
Achipe.
Oh, a chuppe?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Zeja mit Freud, Mame, Stell mit mir, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Chuppe.
Chuppe. Okay, I don't know.
Okay, so let's see what Svetlana wrote for us. Ach, Jablotchka is mein einzige. She said, oh, little apple, listen, my only one. And little apple is an affectionate term to a girl. Why? No idea what they're doing. What they're doing.
Means doll.
Sorry?
Yep. Means doll. We say a doll.
A doll,
Right.
yeah, from the guys and doll. That's the doll.
Right. So your blush.
Mamochka, he says in this context, she says, don't force yourself to beg. Don't be stubborn. And ich stell mit mir a Puppe. So I will marry you. She says, I will marry you. Sei je mit Freud, Mame. Stell mit mir a Puppe, so rejoice, Mom, I'm marrying you. And Mom here is not mother, but also something new for a girl. A nickname for
An affectionate.
an affectionate term for a girl.
Term of endearment, right.
Yes. Susan, yes, Susan.
Don't you think it should be ich stell mit dir a Chuppe? Nicht mit mir.
She says that it's slang. What Svetlana wrote to us when Maurice asked her, she said that
I think maybe it just was miswritten in when it was translated, when it was heard. I think it would be ich stell mit dir a Chuppe.
Yeah, you would think so. Well, we'll listen, when we hear it again, we
You
can
don't put a
listen.
chuppah with yourself. You with
No,
somebody
no,
else.
no, it means you do it with me. It doesn't by myself.
No, but it's ich stell.
Right,
I set up a chuppah. I set up a chuppah with you, not with myself.
No, 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 no.
But it's a slang. It's a
Just
slang.
a moment. Morty and then Refoil. Morty.
Yeah. And remember that a couple of lines before, he said, don't be, what's the word? Action. Don't
be stubborn.
Don't be stubborn. So he is telling her, come to the chuppah with me. Stand in the chuppah with me. Tell mit mir a chuppah.
Yeah, of course.
Stand up a chuppah with me.
Yeah, Refoil.
Yeah, I think the simplest emendation is to take off the ch. Just stell mit mir a chuppah, set up a chuppah with me, and we'll have to listen again. But maybe there is no ch there. Maybe it's just stell mit mir.
That sounds.
That makes more sense, right?
Yeah. Okay. We will listen to it carefully. So this one is the last one. And Anita, please.
Oh, en Odessa, mein Odessa, teuer bist du mir. Wo ich geh, wo ich steh, tracht ich bloß von dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, wo ich auch verbracht, ich denk nach dir bei Tag und euch bei Nacht. I think it's a repeat.
Yeah.
In other, in Odessa, mein Odessa, dear to me bist du. You're dear to me. Everywhere I go or I stay, I stand, I think only of you. Your streets, your people, wherever, where I had a good time. I miss, I
long.
miss you. There's another word, but
Long.
anyway, yes. After you, during day and night.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see.
Can I ask one question? Sorry,
Yes,
it's Naomi. Can you go
Yeah,
back? Sorry, can you go back to not the last stanza, the other one, where is hair? Did they take off the aleph? Is a hair? I looked it up in the dictionary. Do you think they took off the aleph? Is a hair,
No,
which means hitherto?
No, he's just telling her to listen. Is hair, so listen.
Is means so. It doesn't mean like the verb.
So
yes,
is. The verb
I see. I thought as is so. As hair.
Could be as, but it's
okay.
I don't know why.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Let's listen to it more carefully and maybe we will solve all the questions.
Ich hab gehört, wenn Lieder singen Gitte, wir singt sie alle mit groß Interesse. Wenn's Luft für Welt, wenn es Latte voll verlitte, noch nicht gehört, ob ich für meiner das. Wie komm ich gut vergessen, als er schon alleine, wie aufgewachsen bin ich, bis es dort mein Heim. Sie sind der ganzen Welt, hat deshalb du noch reine, der Mann im Welli, ich hat sind in der Ach, Tessa, meiner Tessa, Teier bist in mir. Wie ihr gehen, wie ihr steht, tracht ich dort in dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, die ich hab verbracht. Ihr denkt nur dir bei Tug in euch bei Nacht. Der Mann sich nur dem Talkschock in die Traktieren, in die Tanzklassen mit dem Maladior. Bis pflegen Purle, dort Liebesvieren. In die Spanna mit der Wunzeler der Jord. Konflikt hat damit trugen a Peter fin Karakol, mit dem Karakol in Theater reingehen. Ist bis die Pflegt a Reusgemen von dem Theater, ist auf die Plätze der Karakol nicht gewähnt. Ach, Tessa, meiner Tessa, Teier bist in mir. Wie ihr gehen, wie ihr steht, tracht ich noch von dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, die ich hab verbracht. Ihr denkt noch dir bei Tug in euch bei Nacht. Mein Maldawantje, wie ihr bin der Zeugen, die hat hier noch in der Welt als alle Mann. Heute der Passage, steht mir vor den Augen, in der Kurva der trefft der schwarze Jam. Heute der Bulgarski sehe sich ab Bucher gehen, führt am Mädelgarn, Semmetschke zerknackt. Die Tirakisha Schipas, keiner soll nicht sehen. Jene zinker sie a Lieder letzten Tag. Jahre lang, ja, ist mein schöne Zitte. Jella meitja, Mamachka, stell mit dir a Hitte. Sei sie nicht crazy, Mama, stell mit dir a Hitte. Katessa, meiner Tessa, Teier bisschen dir. Wie ihr gehen, wie ihr steht, Tracht ist noch in dir. Deine Gassen, deine Massen, die ich hab verbrannt. Ihr denkt noch dir bei Tukin, euer bei Nacht.
Sehr Freile.
Freilich, wie Gott in Odessa.
We got in it. Okay, that was a fun one. Anyone wants to add anything before we
Yes.
move on to the story? Yes, Barbara.
So a couple of things. I'm wondering if the passage really refers to the estuary. I was looking, and an estuary is partially enclosed. So that may be the place where the estuary has formed, because it says also on the farther side is the shore of the sea. So that was one thing I thought. The passage actually refers to the estuary. And then the word garn, I'm wondering if that means with relish. You know,
Yeah, that's
very actively making a beat. It was the,
Sure.
that's a part, so the,
Yeah, that's
with
possible.
relish, guard,
Mhm.
couple things. Thanks.
Okay.
I have a question about
Yes.
the word pleitza being shoulders or back, and the word rücken, which is a word that I know. And how would you say the lower back? Like if I have pain in my lower back, is there a different word for that?
There's the word krije, but I'm not sure exactly where that is on the body.
I never heard that one.
Yeah.
What did you say? Which word it is?
Krije. Meine krijes. Oi, meine
Those
krijes.
are kidneys.
Courageous.
Okay.
Those are kidneys.
Rafael, yeah.
Yeah, the word krijes, krijes is loins small of a back. To say that you suffer lower back pain, it's fallen off the krijes.
Krijes, right. So my mother
Okay.
used to say.
And when I go to the doctor about my shoulder, what should I tell him? That the pleitza tut mir weh?
Axel.
The axle. No, the axle tut mir weh. Yeah.
Is there a difference between pleitza and rücken?
Ya está bien.
Does
I don't
someone
know.
have the answer to
That
that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Susan, hast geschockelt mit der Kopf, Susan.
Well, the plexus is the back in general, but the rücken is the spine.
Ah, okay.
That's the rücken. The Rückenbein is your spine, so it is different. The spine is the Rückenbein is mitten, und die ganze Sache is the plexus.
Okay, Rafael.
Okay, thank you. I got my anatomy lesson.
Yeah, I would disagree slightly. I would say plexus is the shoulders, but it includes the scapula, which is the upper part of the back. And rücken, I would say, is the whole back. Rückenbein, of course, is the spine.
Okay.
And if you have to go someplace fast,
I agree with
then
him.
the places.
I agree with him
What do you
completely.
call it farther down where you sit?
Henrietta, you say that you agree?
I agree, yes. The time is looked as the places to lay. Those are his shoulders across his back.
Okay, we cannot hear you anymore. Something went wrong with your voice. Okay, Rochale?
Die reden wegen Schmerzen, der meint mir ein bisschen eine komische Situation. Mein Tate hat geglaubt, als wenn kalte Plätze, also wie ein Refrigerator, kann man kriegen Rheumatismen. Das ist gewähnt der Wort bei ihm. Der noch mir kommen zu Amerika und ich kenne seinen Bruder, wo alle Schmerzen bei ihm ist euch ein Rheumatismus. Ich meine, das ist sehr komisch. Das ist eine Sache in Europa, wo es reingegangen in kalte Plätze und gearbeitet in kalte Plätze Rheumatismus.
Rochale, ich kann dir sagen, als mein Doktor sagt dieselbe Sache. Das ist, was sagt mir. Rheumatismus sagt mir. Efter ist gerecht.
Efter sind beide gerecht.
Ist nicht
Ja,
du.
zieht, so gefällt suchen mir, es zieht mir, du. In dieselbe Sache. Ich soll nicht gewiss einer vom Zweiten, weil du sie gewähnt, du sie gewähnt in Amerika, gewinnt sehr komisch.
Meine Mama hat allemal gesagt, dass beide sind gerecht, heute sind red.
Okay, Cookie.
Das ist gerecht.
Sehr Geschmack.
Cookie, you are our comic relief, Cookie. Okay, let's go back to Vinkl Tam and continue the story. And we are on page 5, so let me go back to page 5. Oh, jetzt ich kann dich hören, Henrietta. So, alle gedenken, was hat passiert bis jetzt?
I wasn't here. Can you fill me in, please?
Now let's have a review.
Okay, as Morty, you want to tell a little bit about what we read?
Yeah. Let me go back to this. Yes, we're talking about Vinkl, the Tam Vinkl, the simpleton or the simple person. And he's been all his life made fun from the people in the city and the town in Frampo, even to the point that he is sort of forced into marriage with a prostitute, Elka, who has a child when he meets her, and she tells him, and he believes her, that this is her brother. During their marriage, she is very unfaithful to him and has a number of lovers and has other children with them. And,
okay, so let's stop here because that's where she has the first child while she's married to him. Okay, so Morty started. Sie ist zu Mazel.
Let me get 1 second, please.
Okay.
Because for some reason I don't have it in front of me.
But it's on the screen. I put it on the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Sie ist zu Mazel gelegen geworden in Gehad Abenzochen. She is with luck, gave birth and had a male boy. Freitag zur Nacht tut der Schames a Spann a Rauf auf Balemmer, der langt a club in Schochen in Ruftois. Friday night, Erev Shabbos, the Shames, the sexton, gives a step up to the bima and gives a hits the table and says, Hanoged Reb Vinkl verbeet dem ganzen Oilem auf Sholem Zocher. The rich man, Reb Vinkl, is inviting the whole community to a Sholem Zocher.
Sholem Zocher, yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
Sorry. To a kiddush for his male son.
But on Friday night.
So just a moment, I have some questions. So let's stop here for a moment. Rafael?
Yeah, Sholem Zocher is a Friday night, the Friday after a son is born. And it's usually it's a party A small party, and usually beer is served. That's all I know about a Shalom Zacher.
Okay. Before I say, Barbara?
Okay, so I thought it was on the Thursday night before the Shabbos, but I may be wrong, like you said. And it's connected with remembrance of the Torah. Remember the story about how before a child is born, he's hit on the lips and he forgets all the Torah?
Not on the lips, on the nose.
On the nose, okay.
The nose.
So there's a reference to that. And I also looked that it really became practiced because of Rabbi Moses Isserles of the Shulchan Aruch. He lived 1530 to 1572. That's when it became apparently a practice among the Ashkenazim. Chickpeas are served. That's a usual food. And, chickpeas are also a morning food. So there's maybe a connection there, but it's connected to the cycle of life. So that's information that I had learned about it. And apparently there is a reference in the Talmud with regard to this remembrance of the Torah. Makes sense, the Talmud.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Barbara. We learned something. Morty?
Yeah, just to follow up and clear up, not clear up, follow up on what Barbara said. It's true that the Shulchan Aruch after Rabbi Isserles was followed by the Ashkenazim. Before Isserles, the Shulchan Aruch, which was written by Yosef Karo, was not considered obligatory for Ashkenazim, only for Sephardim. Isserles eventually took in a number of traditions from the Ashkenazi communities, and then it became obligatory for Ashkenazi Jews.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Go on, Mortis. Go on reading.
Okay. Das ganze Bismerisch hat gelacht. The whole community in the shul laughed. Spunim is mir verspatscht geworden. My face got all twisted. Was hab ich gekannt tun? But what could I do? Ich bin fortgewein der Balbris. I was, in any case, the one giving the party. Es ist sich ungelaufen a halbe Stunde. It spread around half of the city. Mod kein Spickel nicht gekonnt reinstecken. We couldn't bring in even a small pin. Yeah, pin. There was no room even for a pin. Weiber haben gebracht gepfefferte Arbis in mod gekriegen von Schenk a Fassele beer. Women brought peppered beans, and somebody brought a barrel of beer from the tavern. Hab gegessen in getrinken gleich mit allem in mod mir gewünschen Mazel Tov. I ate and drank this together with everybody, and everybody gave me a Mazel Tov. Dennoch hat man gemacht Abris in Chobanumen getin dem Jingel noch mein Taten Oliver Scholem. After all this, the bris was carried out, and I named the boy after my father, Oliver Scholem. May he rest in peace. Als alle sind weg, und ich bin geblieben mit der Gewinnerin allein, hat sie ausgesteckt den Kopf von Vorhang in mich zugerufen zum Bett. When everybody left and I was left alone with the birth giver, she stuck her head out from the curtain and called me to bed. Vinkl, sagt sie. Wo schweigst du? Vinkl, she said, why are you quiet?
Okay.
A Schiff mit Sormilch ist dir untergegangen? Did you drink a whole ship of sour milk?
No,
No, I think untergegangen is not sink.
Sink, yeah.
Sink.
Okay. Oh, did a whole ship with sour milk sink? Wo soll ich reden? Sag ich. Schein hast du mir upgeteet. What am I going to say? You did a nice thing to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
but
you
it's-
pulled
My
the
mama-
number on me. You pulled the number on me.
Yeah, it's
Okay, Morty,
sarcastic.
thank you. Thank you, Morty.
You're welcome.
Susan, you want to continue, Susan? Susan? Yeah, Susan, you want to continue? When my mama? Just unmute yourself, Susan.
Okay, where are you now?
Here, second row, second sentence. When my mama, here on the screen, when my mama,
Wenn mein Mama Voltus der lebt, wird sie noch einmal gestorben. If my mother had lived to see this, she would have died a second time. Sucht sie, she says, bist meturef oder was? Are you mixed up or what? And meturef, I looked it up, it means confused. Yes, is related.
in Hebrew it means crazy. It's an Hebrew word.
Treif,
It means
okay.
crazy.
Oh, mean crazy, okay. Anything to do with treif?
No,
Okay.
not in Hebrew.
Did you go crazy? Steich, what are you talking about? Sag ich. Wie macht man das Mannsbild azoi zum Narr? How do you fool a man? So how can you make such a fool out of a man? Was tut sich mit dir? What's going on with you? Fragt sie, she asks. Was hast du dir reingenommen in Kopf rein? What did you get into your head? Ich hab gesehen, als muss mit ihr reden, offene Diburim. I realized that I should talk over more things with her more often. Sag ich. So I say, azoi tut men mit a yosem? Is that the way you act with an orphan? A mamzer hast du geboren. You gave birth to a mamzer. Sagt sie.
Just a moment, Susan. Just a moment. I have here some Rafael raised his hand. Yeah.
Yeah, often a diborim, open words. I realized that I had to speak directly with her.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I better speak to you directly. So is that what you do with an orphan? A mamzer hast du geboren. You gave birth to a mamzer. Sagt sie, schlug dir Reus von sich die Narrigkeiten. Get rid of your stupidities. Sis dein Kind, it's your child. Wie soll dus mein Kind? How is it my child? Keine ich, I complain. Als hast es gehabt 17 Wochen nach der Chasana. How is it my child when you gave birth to him 17 weeks after the wedding? Erzählt sie mir a Meise. So she tells me a story. As is a Zibbele, that it's a preemie, a 7-month baby. Sag ich, a Zibbele is nicht kein Vinkl. So a 7-month baby is not a 5-month baby. Nehmt sie keinen Basher sie hat gehabt a Boben. So she begins telling me a story that she had a grandmother hat sie in Ganzen getrunken 5 Kedushim, and she had gave birth after 5 months. Und sie gerot in ihr rein, and she takes after her. The 2 Tropens Wasser, she's like her grandmother, just like 2 drops of water, they're the same.
That's what's called Bobemeises. Bobbe mit der Meise, ja Gott.
Sie schwört dabei mit der Säune Schwurs, so she swears with such swearing as me wollt gekonnt leben a goy of Nerid. Just as much as you would listen to a goy in the marketplace, that you would believe a goy in the marketplace. Der Emes gesucht, hab ich nicht geglaubt. The truth is, I didn't believe. Aber als ich hab morgen übergerät mit a Melamed, but the next day, when I talked to a Melamed teacher, hat mir gesucht, als a Sach wird gebracht in der Gemara. He told me that they do discuss something like that in the Gemara. Adam und Chava, Adam and Eve, seien in a Rauf auf dem Bett 2 und a Rup seien sie 4. Adam and Eve lie down in bed. There were 2 of them. When they got up, there were 4 of them. Nu sagt so he says, jeder Isha is their Mutter, Chava und an Uranical. So every woman is Chava or Eve's great grandchild. Was is Elke erger von Chava, and in what way is Elke worse than Eve? A Zoe, see a Zoe. Well, if that's so, me hot mir verret die Zehn. Well, if that's so, they fooled me. They pulled something over on me. Und zurückgeschmust, wer weiß. And looking back on it, who knows? Ot sucht man doch, so one says, as
Joisel.
As Joisel, as Jesus, as Joidel hat in Ganzen kein Taten. So they say, because Jesus supposedly didn't even have a father.
Okay, and that's not in the translation, guys.
Right.
No reference.
Oh, interesting.
No
Right,
reference to
right.
Jesus, his mother, or whatever. So that's an interesting point. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Susan. Rafael, please continue.
Hab schon an geheimen vergessen mein Traum. So I soon began to forget my this slap in the face. Ich hab lieb gehabt, das Kind, a Gewalt. I loved the child with a force. I really loved the child. Und hat mich euch lieb gehabt, and he loved me too. Wie nur hat mich versehen, as soon as he would catch sight of me, azoi hat ein geheiben machen mit die Händlich. He would begin to wave his hands. Ich soll ihm nehmen, that I should pick him up. Hat sich gerissen oder sich verkeicht. If he, I guess, had a boo-boo, as people say in English now, if he scraped himself, or now verkeicht, I'm not sure what that is here.
I think it's to choke.
But yeah, sich verkeichen is to gasp or to pant.
Oh, to gasp, yeah.
Yeah. Hat ihm keiner nicht gekonnt einstellen, achutz mir. No one could quiet him down besides me. Ich hab ihm gekauft a beineren Begele. I bought him a bone ring. I guess that's a teething ring.
Yes.
A kapelle, gelaced mit gold. A little, slightly with a gold surface.
What's a kapelle?
What's a kapelle?
A couple, which means a little bit. A kapitschke. That's my guess. or it could be a little hat.
A little
Okay.
hat.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
sounds.
couple is a
Maybe
So-
from this, a kapelush come from this?
Yeah, well, kapelush
Kapelush?
is a coat.
Mhm.
But yeah, this could be understood as a couple, a little bit, or it could be a little hat, and I think more likely a little hat.
A little
And let me
a
just look up.
yarmulke.
A kapelush
Yeah.
is a hat.
And
Yeah,
let me
a
show-
little
Kapelush is a
yarmulke.
hat.
and gilded
It's a
with
yarmulke.
gold. Okay.
Okay.
A little
Jeden Mont-
yarmulke.
Yeah. Jeden Montag und Donnerstag, every Monday and Thursday, hat man ihm getan a Bezeug und ich bin gelaufen absprechen. So literally every Monday and Thursday, but that's an idiom for often.
Okay.
Why
okay.
Monday and Thursday? These are the days where one reads Torah in shul, but
Yeah.
that means often. Hat man ihm getan a Bezeug. They gave him the evil eye. Und ich bin gelaufen absprechen. I had to run to have it, the curse removed. Gearbeitet habe ich demalt wie ein Ochs. At that point, I was working like an ox. As is da an Efele in Huis, when there's a baby in the house, is spaderfenisch größer. The needs are greater. Lamai soll ich liegen sagen. Why should I tell a lie? Hab sie, Elken, euch nicht fein gehabt. I also didn't really hate Elke. That is, I kind of liked her. Sie hat mich gesiedelt und gescholten. She, there's actually a difference between Ziedeln and Schalten. Ziedeln is to call names, and Schalten is to cuss. She called me names and she cussed me out.
Yeah.
Und ich bin ihr gekrochen unter die Nägel. But I creeped under the nail, under her nails. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's a.
I think he
Did
got
what
on
she
his on
wanted.
their
He got
nerves.
on her nerves.
And I got on her nerves. Okay, that works. Oi, hat sie gehabt a koyach. Boy, does she have a strength. Azi hat auf dir a kuketon. When she would look at you,
1 second.
mir ihr kukele. At me, her little look, I guess. Bist du geworden a geplefter? You would be speechless.
Okay, just a moment, Rafael. Barbara, what did you want to
Well, there's a
comment?
couple of things. Gekrochen unter the Nägel, maybe under her thumb.
Yes, means I did what she wanted.
Mhm.
Right, right. And the capella, does it come from cupola, like a dome, a little dome? Does that actually make sense with regard to the gold?
I don't
little
think so. It's
dome?
more likely a little
Nope.
hat.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think it's
right.
under it.
Thank you.
Okay, go on, Rafael.
Where are we? Ihr kukele.
Eint ihre Leidelig.
Yeah. Heint ihre redelijk. Not to mention her little speeches. Sie shit mit Pech und Schwebel. She poured out pitch and sulfur and says Molechain, and it's really beautiful. Eis zu kuschen jedes Wort. You could kiss each word.
Okay. Sie kriegte.
Sie kriegte rein in der siebte Rib. She would literally crawl into your seventh rib. She would get under your
skin.
Under your
She would
skin,
get-
that's it.
Yeah, to under your skin. Mhm.
Und du liegst auf ein Piekelik in gehackte Wunden. And you would be lying under the Piekelik. What's a Piekelik?
I don't know.
No idea.
Pieta is a heel.
Yeah, no, a Piekelik can be a wall oven, according to my dictionary. In gehackte Wunden, you'd be lying somehow or other with now gehackte Wunden has a whole story behind it, but it means in pain. Und willst nach, and you would even want more. So he says, I kind of enjoyed being beaten up by her.
S&M.
Yes.
Okay.
Alahei a gebrotens, just like something that had been
Broiled.
broiled. In Abend habe ich ihr a chutz Brot gebrachte Challah. In the evenings, in addition to bread, I would bring her a challah. Remember, he's a baker. Was ich hab eigens opgebacken for ihretwegen, which I myself had baked for her sake. Und a paar Semmelach and a few rolls. Ich bin so lieb ihr geworden a Ganef. Because of her, I even became a thief. Und gelachend, was ich hab nur gekannt. And I picked up, I stole whatever I could. Da a Stückel Kuchen und dort a Macarondel. Here, a bit of cooked goods. Kuchen can be a cookie. And there, macaroon. Von dannen a Rogenke und von dort a Mandel. A raisin from this place and an almond from that place. Es soll mir kein Gnai nicht sein. It shouldn't be a, now Gnai is ugliness. In order that I wouldn't feel, I don't know, I'm not quite sure how to understand this.
In order not to be considered wrong or something like not.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
hope
this.
I may be forgiven for stealing from the Saturday pots.
Something like this. Yeah.
Okay. Ich fleg effen in Shabbos Cholenter und a Reis nehmen a fodem Fleisch. So a little background here. People would bring their cholent to the baker to stay warm in his ovens over Shabbos. So I would open on Shabbos the cholents that other people have left there. Und a Reis nehmen, and I would take out a fodem Fleisch, a string of meat.
Bread.
A pitzel,
Fodem bread.
A thread.
Yeah. A thread.
A little.
A little bit, yeah. A pitzel kugel, a small kugel, a kneppel, literally a button. A fissel, most likely a chicken foot, a foot. A stickel kishka, a little bit of kishka. Was hat sich gelassen, whatever I could. Sie hat gegessen und geworden schön und fett. So she, that's the wife, would eat and she became beautiful and fat. A fat is not really fat. It means plump, that's it.
Plump, but what they used to say in Eastern Europe, she was healthy. When someone was fat, he was healthy.
That's right. That person had enough to eat, as opposed to moger, someone who's thin with hunger.
Right. You don't mind finishing the piska, the paragraph, yeah. Okay?
Yeah. A ganze Woche habe ich nicht genächtigt in der Heim. All week long, I didn't spend the night at home. Freitag zu nachts, but Friday night, pflege ich kommen zu ihr. I would come to her. Nur sie hat allemal gehabt ein Ausred, but she always had some excuse. Da hat gebrennt unter ein Löffele. Now, at one point, she had heartburn. It burned under her stomach. It means heartburn. Und da hat sie gestochen in der Seite. And then she had a side cramp. Da hat sie gehabt a Schluckerz. Here she was hiccuping. Und da a Kopfwehtig. And now it was a headache. Heint die weibliche Scheiles. Now it's the women's problems. I guess that's time of menstruation.
Yes.
Frag nicht, ich bin ausgerissen geworden. Don't ask, it really pained me. Dazu is der Bruder ihrer, der Mamser. In addition, her brother, that Mamser, and that wasn't really a brother, untergewachsen. He grew up. Hat mich geschlagen. He started beating me up. Und als ich hab gewollt zurücktan, and when I wanted to give him back, hat sie derlangt an meine Loschen. She handed over now we've seen this word meine Loschen before, a complaint or a a vulgarity in this case. Es ist mir green geworden vor die Augen. It became green in my eyes. In other words, I felt sick because of it. 10 Mal in Tag hat sie mir geworfen dem Get vor die Fies.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
I've got my own copy. So
Okay, so continue. Sorry, I don't know.
10 Mal in Tag, 10 times a day, hat sie mir geworfen dem Get vor die Fies. She would throw a get in front of my feet. Now, of course, she wouldn't have her get, but she would threaten a divorce. An anderer auf meiner, someone else in my place, wollte entlaufen, wo der schwarze Pfeffer wächst. Someone else in my place would have run away to where the black pepper grows. That's kind of an idiom for far away here.
Far away.
Aber ich bin beteva a Verschweiger. But by nature, I am someone who lets these things pass. I will let them be. I am silent in the face of these things. No, haklal. Well, anyhow, was soll man tun? What should one do? As Gott get places, muss man schleppen dem Pack. If God has given you shoulders, there's the word places, then you've got to carry the pack.
Okay, thank you, Rafael, and sorry for letting you read so much, but you know, it's a difficult read, and so we need. Okay, thank you, guys. I think we will continue it next time because it's 12 o'clock already.
I want to.
So, but
when he's describing what he takes out of the cholent, that's
Yes.
all the food that goes into the cholent.
Yeah.
The kishka, the feet, the what did they put in? What else? I forgot the last word.
A sticky kishke, a kugel.
Yeah, kishka. Yeah, that's what they put in.
A fizzle, yeah, all kinds of things that they are putting inside it. Okay, anyway, we can continue talking about it. People, if you have any comments or anything, please know me. I am stopping the recording. So, okay, so